Hey guys.
Hey.
Today we're going to dive into a topic that can have a significant impact in your life. 10 things that poor people do that the rich don't do. But rather than just telling you those 10 points, we're also going to discuss how you can change those behaviors and transform your life.
Now, before we get into that, we've got a bit of a favor to ask you guys. Now, we noticed that around 53% of you guys who watch our channel are currently not subscribed. We'd really appreciate it, because every single one of you who subscribes helps essentially our channel to grow so that we can reach more people and have more impact through the work that we do. So please hit that subscribe button if you actually find our channel and our content really helpful. We'd really appreciate it. For those who are new to our channel, my name is Ken.
And I'm Mary.
Of the Humble Penny and Financial Joy Academy. And what we do on this channel is to help you guys to take control of your finances, grow your money, and work towards financial independence and ultimately joy in your life. All right, let's dive straight in. All right, so the format of this video today is that Mary and I are going to take turns and read these 10 things that poor people do that the rich people don't do. And as we read them, we're going to put them up on the screen for you guys to read with us and react in the comments as you read them. And then we'll just talk about some real life examples. The very first one is that poor people ignore financial education versus embracing financial literacy. So the point here is that poor people neglect the importance of financial education, leaving their money matters to chance. The rich, on the other hand, actively seek out knowledge about personal finance, investing, and wealth creation. It's time to put down the remote control and pick up a book on financial literacy.
Couldn't agree more. You know, there's this excellent quote by Jim Rohn, and he says, formal education will make you a living, but self-education will make you a fortune. We love Jim Rohn, and you know, that speaks a lot to the point that you've just made.
Absolutely. And I think, you know what, I think the word embracing for me is the key thing. It's just getting out there and not leaving things to chance, not leaving it to kind of guesswork. And I think it's quite encouraging. It pretty much says that everyone can change their financial destinies if they actually started with the foundation of financial literacy. So I think having a channel like ours is a good place for people to start.
Absolutely. And if you think about, you know, how far we've come with our personal finances, you know, none of it was chance. Everything was deliberate. And the things that we put our effort into and that we planned towards, like, for example, paying off our mortgage, if that wasn't a goal that we'd set, then it wouldn't have happened.
As well as investing in the stock market.
As well as investing. Point number 2 is spending on impulse versus practicing delayed gratification. So impulse buying here is a trap that many people fall into, satisfying immediate desires without considering the long-term consequence. The rich, however, practice the art of delayed gratification. They understand the value of saving and investing before splurging on luxuries. Remember, patience is a virtue and it can lead to financial success.
Do you know what? I think the problem people have with delayed gratification is that a lot of people who don't really do very well in their finances only think of today. Now, I get that today is all we've got at the moment, and tomorrow, you know, like you might not be here tomorrow and that kind of stuff. But I think it's very good for us to think ahead and plan ahead into the future. And delayed gratification pretty much speaks to that, because it basically symbolizes that you are not just thinking of today, but you're thinking of, you know, what's to come into the future.
Absolutely. And it's not a natural thing actually to exercise delayed gratification. I don't think so anyway, unless that's the way that you were brought up. It's like you were saying, you know, it comes down to being intentional. When you increase your financial literacy and you plan ahead, like
you've got goals,
it kind of helps you.
Absolutely.
It'll make you think twice before, you know, just like spending, which can then
spending all your money
recklessly kind of thing.
I heard
just recklessly. It could be things that it could seem like it's important. You know, what are those kind of things?
I was just going to say, when we went to a barbecue recently and we had a 70-year-old speaking, a friend of ours, their dad was speaking, and he had this really interesting, I guess, saying, this wisdom, and he said that you should never eat the fruit with the seeds. And that's really saying you shouldn't basically spend all your money. You should have something left over the seed that you can sow, you can reinvest. That speaks directly to delayed gratification. Because if you don't really delay gratification, if you're always spending everything that comes in, and getting things as you want them instantly, then that's pretty much recipe for disaster financially.
And exactly, can lead to people borrowing money to sustain that lifestyle instead of waiting maybe to buy that thing when you've got the money to be able to afford it again. So yeah, I love that.
Point 3, blaming others versus taking responsibility. This says poor people can fall into the blame game. Who can relate to that? Not pointing any fingers, but like, this is important, like blame game. Poor people can fall into the blame game, pointing fingers at external factors for their financial situation. The rich, on the other hand, take full responsibility for their actions and their financial outcomes. It's time to put on your big boy or big girl pants and take charge of your financial destiny. This one hits.
Yes, it really does. It does.
Because it's so easy to point to other people, point to the economy, point to the government, point to the weather, point to anything.
Your partner,
point to
children, family.
Exactly. And say you've got people coming after you and all kinds of things. Now I get it. There are external factors that are always at play. But one thing I can definitely relate to this in so many ways, because I remember whilst growing up at a certain stage of my life, I always felt I didn't feel like I had full responsibility for my financial future. I felt like I was not fully in the driving seat. I always felt I had to rely on somebody else. I always had family to fall back on. I always had that backup plan. And the one thing I've learned on my journey is that really and truly, no one is coming to save you.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's a hard message, but it's so true. Because even if you do have people who are going to come and save you, if you believe no one's coming to save you, and you therefore get into the driving seat of your life, you put on those big boy pants or big girl pants or whatever, you get on with it, you are far more likely to get to that point in your financial life where you are in control. You are making things happen, and you're not just waiting or blaming others and pointing at other people for things not happening in your life.
Yeah, and likewise, if something didn't go well for me, I would blame, external factors as well. Like somebody out there doesn't want me to succeed. Whereas I don't know why even that thought process even, came about. But when I realized that actually, if something didn't work out well, then actually I'm responsible
100.
for that situation. And the moment you realize that it's not somebody out there, it's not your enemies that are against you, or they're trying they're
spiritual warfare.
It
could be.
It could be. When you realize that actually, because otherwise you keep absolving yourself of responsibility and you don't take the necessary steps. But when you realize actually you're in control, it's a total different mindset shift, and it makes you start to seek out solutions to problems as opposed to just blaming, like playing a victim card.
Yeah.
Point number 4 is surrounding themselves with negative influences versus seeking positive mentors. So poor people tend to surround themselves with negative influences that reinforce their limiting beliefs. The rich, however, actively seek out mentors and role models who can guide them on their journey to success. Surround yourself with people who inspire you and uplift you.
Big one. We talk about this all the time. But before we even got on this recording, we were talking about, saying to you about like our house and stuff. I said to you how like it wasn't until we had certain people around us who even took us, they drove us around. They were like, oh, have you considered this area? Maybe try and buy in this area. Don't worry, it's upcoming. We had those insights from people. Had we not surrounded ourselves with those people, we would not have made very good decisions that are now paying off 10, 11 years down the line after we'd made that purchase. So having the right people around you is so powerful for shifting your mindset, helping you to make the right decisions and avoid costly mistakes as well. Point 5, settling for mediocrity versus pursuing excellence. Poor people often settle for mediocrity, accepting their circumstances without striving for improvement. The rich, on the other hand, constantly push themselves to excel in their chosen fields. It's time to raise the bar, pursue excellence in everything you do.
I love that point. That to the point that we made before about surrounding yourself with mentors, influencers, people who influence you
in a good way.
People who positively influence you. Because if you don't surround yourself with those kind of people, how would you even know that you're setting for mediocrity if you don't know how hard the bar can go? When you can see other people achieving, setting big goals, but also achieving them, you realize that actually this goal
I need to level up.
I need to level up.
I need to level up.
Like, I'm playing it small with these goals.
Yeah.
Like, let me raise the bar a bit. You wouldn't really know until you surround yourself with those kind of people.
Exactly. And I made a video previously about the breaking the employee mindset. If you've not seen that video, you absolutely have to go and see it. I'll link below and above. In that video, I looked at the position as employees. And I'm, in that video, I was obviously not bashing employees. Everybody, most people are employees and will carry on being so. Yeah. But the point I wanted to make about mediocrity is, I don't know about you or about you guys watching, but at some stages in my career, I kind of felt in my jobs that I could just get away with just doing just enough. There wasn't a pursuit of excellence.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're on that wealth building journey, your life should be all about trying to create excellence in your life, whether it's in your side hustle, whether it's in your business, whether it's in your financial planning, whether it's in your investing game, whether it's in your job, because that's the only way you're going to level up. That's the only way you're going to get those pay rises. That's the only way you're going to put the work in that's necessary. And there is work to be done to make your side hustle and the various other things you're doing on the side a success. Yeah. That's how you then build that wealth.
So point 6 is consuming versus creating. Poor people spend countless hours consuming mindless entertainment, while the rich focus on creating value and building wealth. Instead of binge watching reality TV shows like Love Island and Love is Blind.
I quite like Love is Blind. Alright, carry on.
It's very addictive. You see, that's the problem.
Love is Blind.
Why not channel your energy into creating something meaningful that can generate income and opportunities? And this also talks to people who consume in terms of they're just always buying. Why not be on the producer side and actually create things that can generate income for yourself? But yeah, if you're up to date with all the latest reality TV shows, then that is just quality time wasted that you could have, put into doing something else.
Yeah. I'm not saying, and this is interesting because if you're someone who pursues excellence in your life, speaking to the previous point we made, you're far more likely to be that producer.
Yes. And you're far more likely to have less time binge watching reality shows.
And it shouldn't be an all or nothing. So it shouldn't be like, I'm just going to only binge and watch TV shows or I'm just going to be like someone who's at the other extreme. It's also, it's okay to have that balance in between. But to realize what your priorities are really, particularly if you're in that wealth accumulation phase, you should really be doing all you can in your youth when you have that momentum in your 20s, 30s, 40s to really, really do the work. Because I can tell you, it never gets easier as you get older. So you want to really do that work of producing, creating, building, do it as early as you can because it really does pay off. All right, point 7, fear of failure versus embracing risks. Poor people often let the fear of failure paralyze them. Okay, I want to hear from you guys in the comments. Is the fear of failure something that's holding you back right now in your life?
It's a real one.
This is real, man. We've all been there. This is not about pointing fingers. We've been there.
Definitely.
We've been poor. We've been through all these things. We can relate to every point being made. Jump in the comments and let us know. Is the fear of failure something you're currently struggling with? Give us some context in the comments. Poor people often let the fear of failure paralyze them, preventing them from taking risks and seizing opportunities. The rich or the wealthy, the same thing really in terms of, for this purpose of this video, the wealthy, however, embrace risks as stepping stones to success. Remember, failure is not the end. I feel like I need to repeat this point.
Do it.
Failure is not the end. It's a valuable lesson on the path to your greatness.
Exactly. This isn't to say that these points that we're making about what the poor people do versus what the rich do is regarding, your current financial status. Is actually also a mindset. So you could actually maybe have a rich mindset even though you're not there yet. Well, it's because of your mindset you will get there eventually. So it's not, just to bear that in mind.
Very important point.
I think one of the reasons why people are afraid of failing is because they're worried about how people will judge them or how they'll be perceived. And these people that they're worrying about
don't care.
They don't even care.
Yeah.
You're not the center of the universe. The world doesn't revolve around you. And it's not to be rude, it's just to say that you can give yourself some grace to actually just allow yourself to fail. Allow yourself to make mistakes. And the right people around you would actually support you and encourage you, and they won't actually think negatively. They won't laugh. They won't be laughing at you like, ha, you didn't.
You flopped.
Flopped. That won't happen. And if you do have people around you, then you need to reassess assess your friendships and your circle. But for the most part, people are not watching you like that. You know, feel free to actually try.
And you know what? And trying does something, because like I give an example, really practical. I post on LinkedIn. If you're not following me on LinkedIn, please find me and follow what we post on LinkedIn every week. And what's interesting about that is I actually look back and I see some of my old bosses, old managers, all these people. They didn't like me very much when I was their subordinate. But because I've done something unusual, I've got out into the world to start doing my own thing. I've tried, like you said. I've been a bit braver. I haven't just like feared so much that it's paralyzed me and kept me where I am. I've just said, you know what? Like, I'm just gonna try and see where this thing takes me. And I've carried on, I've persisted, I've just carried on. I, all of a sudden, appear as a hero in their eyes. I get so many DMs on LinkedIn. Wow, you're literally saying what I should be saying. You're saying what the people are thinking. You're a modern day hero. I get all this stuff in the DM. But the difference between the two groups of people is one person tried and did something, whereas the other person
Wish they did
and watched on. A bit like in a cinema, you're just watching other people's lives unfold. When in actual fact, you should be the one stepping in, getting into the driving seat and doing what you can to drive your life to where you want it to get to. Because there's so many things you can control. Yes, you can't control everything, but there's a lot that you can control when it comes to creating your own financial destiny.
Point number 8 is lack of goal setting versus creating a clear vision. Poor people often wander aimlessly through life without clear goals or a vision for their future. The rich, on the other hand, set specific goals and create a roadmap to achieve them. It's time to grab a pen and paper and start outlining your dreams and aspirations.
Let me ask you, and let's be real, what are your goals? What are your financial goals right now? Actually, jump in the comments and tell us, what are your financial goals right now? Because I hate to say this, if you actually don't have any goals at all, then you fall into that camp of wandering aimlessly through life. Almost like a wind you're being blown along the wind and waiting for the next thing to happen, waiting for the next recession, the next pandemic, the next interest rate rise, the next whatever to happen to you. But because you don't have that goal, you're not forward-looking enough. You're not asking, what if this happened? What if that happened? How am I using my time? How am I finding 90 minutes to 2 hours a day to work on my goals? You're not being proactive, basically.
We recently had a meet-up with our community, our FJA members in London, and it was great. One of the members asked me, like, Mary, what did you and Ken do differently to get to where you are now? And, you know, there's many things that we did, but the one thing that we did, even before we got married, you know, we talk about this, we were on a beach in Zanzibar, in Pongwe, and, you know, not only were we planning our wedding, but we created a 10-year plan. And that was just a game changer for us, because we had a clear vision.
And we didn't have money. We didn't have money, to be clear.
We didn't have money. This was in 2010. You know, many years back. We didn't have money, like you said.
Yeah, but we had a vision.
Yes, we had a vision, we had a goal.
And we wrote the vision, and we made it plain. We knew what we wanted, and we knew it in enough detail. And that helps with your visualization. That helps with literally helping you to say no to stuff that would distract you through your life.
Delayed gratification, all of that.
Say yes to the things that matter in your life. Point 9, neglecting personal development versus investing in growth. Poor people often neglect personal development, missing out on valuable opportunities for growth and improvement. The rich, however, invest time and resources being money and so on, into expanding their knowledge, skills, and mindset. Remember, investing in yourself is the best investment you can make. I can't count how many people who reach out to us, follow us, DM us, whatever. All those people do those things because Mary and I have deliberately, over at least a decade, intentionally invested in our personal growth, in our personal development. Even today, we've not arrived in it. We've not arrived. We are still learners. We still feel like we're still soaking up. We're still reaching out to other people, collaborating with them, networking with them, learning from them. We're in spaces, we're in communities, we're in masterminds, places where we are soaking other people's mindsets. We're expanding our imagination. We're growing. We're reading books. We're listening to audibles. You know, all these things to keep growing as individuals. So where we've got to so far on our journey, because we are on a journey, isn't a coincidence at all. It's a very in fact, there's a very direct correlation, a strong positive correlation between the levels of personal development in your life and the levels of financial freedom you have in your life.
100%. And, but a lot of people would often say that they don't have the time, which is, it's just true. It's just fair. We don't have that much time in a day if you think about work, children, other responsibilities. But there are always small pockets of times which you can put towards your personal development. And you only just need to look at your screen time on your phone to see how much time and hours you've wasted like scrolling on aimlessly on whether it's Instagram or TikTok. What could you have achieved if you use that time towards maybe reading or listen to Audible, like Ken said? Intentionally, exactly. And tracking that as well. It's important to track how much time you're spending each day on things that help you to develop yourself, so you can look back and see, where your time has gone.
It's wisdom right there. Do it. What's that app? What's that app we were using? Toggle. That's it. TOGGL. That's a great app. I believe it's free. Download it as a Chrome extension. Use it to track your activities through the day. Track how much stuff you're spending on good quality materials like this video and others on our channel. So that way, and also then track how you're implementing those things. It's not just about consuming. I don't want you to watch this video like you're watching Netflix. This is not your entertainment show. Like, I want you to take this stuff, write some notes down. Ask yourself, like, what am I going to implement? In fact, let me make it easy for you. What one thing am I going to implement from this video that Ken and Mary released? Just one. And then go and do it. Track it, write it down. And I can tell you, over 1 year, if you tally up all that time, you will see how much you've actually grown in that 1 year.
Point number 10 is lack of persistence versus perseverance. Poor people often give up at the first sign of difficulty, abandoning their dreams in the face of adversity. The rich, however, possess unwavering perseverance, willing to weather any storm on their path to success. Remember, success is not a sprint, it's a marathon. True words.
Do you know what? Okay, I'll just give you a random example. I always talk about our journey with the humble pen. We've done many other things before. We'll use this one because we're talking about this, where we're at right now. And one way we saw our journey when we started this journey was we gave ourselves 3 years to make the humble penny a success. 3 years. And that meant, and I saw this, I remember watching a guy on, I forget the name of the channel, but someone who basically had done a similar thing, and he said to himself, giving himself a period of time meant that he knew he was then committed for that time. That was it. So this is about commitment. If you think about it right at the root, this is a question of commitment, which is, to what extent is there evidence of commitment in your life? Whether it's in relationships, whether it's in your employment, whether it's in business, to what extent is there evidence of commitment? And is that evidence of commitment being carried across to other areas in your life, like your side hustle, your business, and so on? So for us, choosing that 3-year window meant when things got tough, we overcame that toughness or that difficulty because we were like, you know what? This is just a step in the period we're giving ourselves to make what we're doing a success. And because we've given ourselves that period, it has manifested to turn out that way. It's turned out that way because every time we overcome something, we learn from it, we apply it, we overcome, we learn, we apply, and so on.
And I think it talks towards the hustle culture, and people talk about it being, toxic? And I think it's because some people can be very extreme to the detriment of their health, their well-being, their family. So the key is to actually be, aim to be entrepreneurial, aim to, create side hustles, but it's like we said, it's not a sprint. Pace yourself. Go at a steady, realistic pace that will mean that you won't face burnout halfway, a month after you've set out on your new venture. Just take it easy, and as you continue to be persistent, you will begin to build that muscle power that can help you, endure the marathon.
Guys, we hope this video has really given you a moment to think, a moment to reflect on your current habits, your current mindsets, your current behaviors. The thing we want to end this video by sharing is to say that it's never too late to begin to have that shift in your mindset, that shift in your habits, that shift in your behaviors, that shift in the way you operate through life. It's never too late for that to actually happen. The key is to actually believe that this is something that you can adopt in your life, that you can have that change of mindset. Like Mary said at the start, poor versus rich is not necessarily just about money or anything like that. It's about the way in which you think about things, the attitude to which you bring towards things. One quote that actually stands out to me through my career is that attitude changes everything. And this speaks to our mindset, speaks to the energy with which we approach life, solve problems, and so on. So the point here is it's never too late for you to adopt these new mindsets and get into the driving seat and actually change your life.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which of these rich versus poor mindsets could you relate to personally? Let us know and jump in the comments below.
If you really enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications bell for more videos like this one. We'll publish our videos typically twice a week on a Tuesday as well as Thursday. Thanks again for watching, guys, and as always, in all things, be thankful and seek joy.
Take care,
people.
Guys. Bye.
Bye.